I'm tryna do it, not tryna prove it. Telling myself to stop acting so stupid. Why you believing a lie? You the limit, not the sky.
Hey guys, welcome back to Frankly Speaking. My name is Deanne. I have my beautiful friends, Golda and Frank. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good. Awesome. So guys, I know last time you've heard from us was like 1999. Like, I don't know, it's been a while. But we're back. We're better. By God's grace, we are healthy. And I hope that you are too, wherever you're tuning in. We don't know which country that you are watching us from, but I pray that you are finding comfort, that you are keeping safe, that your family is okay. And whoever has gone through a difficult time, whether loss of loved ones, our condolences and our prayers onto you. It's been a difficult year, but I know that if we continue to pray, we continue to be positive and optimistic, that we will get through. So as you know, during these discussions, we're just going to talk about anything that's relating to us in our lives. So currently, it's what's happening with the global pandemic. We're just going to share with you what has happened since then, I guess, before what we were doing beforehand and how our lives have changed, and hope you can find anything relatable to our conversation. So the first question I think I'll just ask my beautiful friends would be, what were our expectations during 2020? Because I know people were like, 2020 is the year I'm going to get married. This is the year I'm going to get business. This is, you know, traveling, making travels left and right. But we did not expect this. So we're going to just go around and share what was our expectation. I guess I'll ask Golda first and then we'll go through.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Diane. 2020, I think for me personally, I didn't really have any like big outstanding like things I wanted to do. There was no catching flights left and right, from continent to continent. There was none of that. But I usually, like, every year I would like travel and go see my family in Ontario. But I didn't get to do that this year, so that was a change. But my expectations, I was hoping for a year, as we probably all were, for, just a year of just like blessings and just health and just friendships and, and just going from one level to the next level. Everything good I was hoping for. I didn't expect that we'd be in a pandemic. Like, I didn't even for a second think about that was going to happen. I didn't even for a second think that I'd have to stay in my house and we'll have to wear masks to go out, or we'll have to social distance. Like, none of that crossed my mind for a second. Mm-hmm. So definitely I didn't expect that. So I expected the year to be like 2019, but better.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was me. I don't know about you, Frank, but
mine was anyways, I had a lot of plans though. Like there's a lot of things I wanted to work on, but since this thing came, I was like, okay, sometimes things came for a reason sometimes, so I didn't expect this, but I had a lot of plans. I was planning maybe there's some few courses I wanted to finish for school.
Yeah.
And, wanted to be very close. Like this 2020, I wanted to make my family like, family thing, but I wanted to make family to be very, very close. And yeah, there's some few things I was working on, but this pandemic happened. I was like, so I didn't give up. I'm like, I'm still home though. Like, trying to learn some few stuff, like how to, there's things that I need to learn, because before I used to think just for myself, right? But now I like some few people, they're looking my back, so I need to like learning from that now, like how to, communicate and be with them close and thinking about them too, So yeah, it was very tough, but it's very tough until now, but I'm getting there and we'll see where we're going. But, I'm learning, like even though like before COVID and now I'm learning some few stuff, like how to stay home and like this, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you like, how was yours, man?
For me, honestly, I was excited because last year was like my last year of like university. I was just like ready to like, this is the year that I'm gonna, scatter the whole place in terms of starting my career as a kinesiologist and just working in the clinic settings or hospital setting, wherever God would place me, that's where I would want to go, and just building my knowledge in the field, getting experience, working in terms of my finances, and as well as launching the business that I launched. But I wanted to, because right now, yes, we're limited and restricted from certain things, so I can't do a lot of things that I plan, like whether it's launch party, different community events, that way that that I just built a name for the brand. But yeah, so that was the whole plan in terms of that. However, it kind of worked out, as Frank says, everything happens for a reason. So we just have to kind of like adjust and stuff. But yeah, no, 2020, I thought, I'm like, this is the year. Like marriage, yeah, whatever, I can wait. But like, this is the year that I'm gonna make some money, doing my career, having my own office and all that. But yeah, but like I said, we just kind of had to adjust. But some things have still gone through the same trajectory as it's supposed to. Like I did graduate by God's grace. I got my degree. I have my license as a registered kinesiologist. So I still am able to do certain things, but not to the same extent that I would have liked it to in terms of working at a clinic, because a lot of unfortunately organization or clinics even per se, they're either closing down or they're very rigid in terms of even who to hire and how to hire. And the process is super, super slow and complicated now because of what is happening. But yeah, those were my plans. I just wanted to make money and just grow as a person and grow the business that I've launched, which is Amara Fitness, health and fitness. So check us out. But yeah, so those are my plans. Just like, where were you physically when you start hearing about, yes, the news that started in Asia, but then more cases were being apparent in US, and then some few cases were starting to see, like, where were you when you heard the news?
For me, I was at work.
Wow.
I was like, because I have one of my cousin used to live he was in China. So anyways, used to text like, oh, he was asking me, Frank, is that disease like it's corona in Canada? I was not really paying attention for that, but I don't like, it was just getting serious and serious. And then he told me, like, he was telling me like, oh, yo, you should be very careful, that disease is in your hair, blah, blah, blah. So the time he told me that, I was like, after they told us about now in Canada, they came like, they are announcing it now. I was just nervous, and I was like, oh, okay. Now this thing is serious. It's very, very real. But I was I was nervous for sure. Like the way people, they were like dying. Like if you like every day, like thousand or people getting sick. Southern like they're like in the hospital. They have no beds, not enough workers and whatever. I was literally nervous for sure. Yeah, but I was awake that day. Goda, what were you?
Yeah, no, same. I was actually at work too. I mean, I was hearing about it like just in and out, on the news, like you, Frank. And then when it really hit home, where everybody was like, okay, the prime minister is gonna speak on it, and the health minister started to speak on it. All those times when it really just hit, I was at work as well. I was doing work, and all of a sudden we're having meetings or we're talking in the hallway about how this is getting, really serious. So yeah, I was working.
Yeah.
What were you, Deanne?
I think for me, same. Either if I was at home or at work, or just in that week of just like going back, whether it's home or work, some days I had off. But yeah, I remember reading about it, and we heard about, okay, it started in Asia, and then more cases grew, especially in Spain. That was like, numbers were like, people were just dying like a lot. And it didn't hit me because I know in the past, it's not to say that I was inconsiderate or how we are in a Western country, that when we hear about, for example, Ebola, when we heard about all these other like really deadly viruses, but they're happening in developing countries. Like we hear about it in the news and we're like, oh, that's so sad, and then we go on our day, right? But then when we heard about Corona and how it was not just staying in one place, you know, it was going from different countries to different countries, and it was going really quickly. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is devastating. Like the amount of people that was dying in Spain alone, I was just baffled. But then it hit me when it started happening here in BC. I'm just like, okay, now we have like 5 cases, now we have 10 cases. I was just like, this is really, really strange. And not knowing the medical side in terms of like how severe it was, because there was a lot of speculation. People were saying like, oh, it's just like a flu, normal flu. I'm like, oh, I've gone a flu before. So I didn't understand the gravity of the situation, like why people exactly are dying from it, and why, how the symptoms, how can you identify if you have it, or just like that. But yeah, I was either at work or home just talking to my parents about it. Oh, did you hear about the news? And then, as Golda said, when our our government here started speaking about it, because that will indicate that, okay, we too as Canadians have to take things seriously, because it's not only affecting people in Asia, it has started affecting people from here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, it was a very strange question. Feelings and thoughts do you have when you heard about quarantine? Like, oh, what, like, how do you guys even feel about that term that's now in our vocabulary so frequently? Oh, social distancing, quarantine, self-isolation, like all these words we never really, or concepts we never really thought about before, but now it's like a law, like you have to, you know. Like, what do you guys feel about them? And yeah, just your own thoughts about it.
Yeah, I think for me, when I first, like when it became really serious and they're like, okay, we got to quarantine and social distance, I just started to think like, okay, wow, like, you know, sometimes you think that you're so special that something like this will not happen to you.
Yeah.
So I started to think like, oh my God, what if it actually happens to me? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, how am I gonna feel? Who's gonna take care of me? Because I live alone. So I was like, okay, so if that happens, you know, like my parents or my family is so far away, what am I gonna do? Who am I gonna call? Like, okay, what, you know? So it just had all these questions, like, you know, and just being worried that how long is this gonna last for? And I was just, you know, reading on the news, and people are talking about how the symptoms are lasting, 14 days, 21 days, you know, and how some of the symptoms you can't really see. So you could imagine me like having a cough and be like, oh, is this it?
Yeah, right?
You know, waking up with a headache and going, oh, what's happening, you know? So every symptom in my body, I became so like hyper vigilant, like just looking for it. But, you know, thankfully I had a pastor who's very like, you know, supportive, and he just speaks the word, and he just encourages us and just tells us to continue to pray and just have faith in God. And just the reminder that, you know, if God is for you, nobody can be against you, you know, so that helped. But before that, I was really I was worried a little bit. I was like, you know, what would happen to me if I felt like that? And I could imagine myself in the hospital. Like, I was literally imagining being in the hospital, laying in bed, can't move, can't do anything. And I'm like, no, that's not me. That's not, I'm like, no, this is not my portion. It's not gonna happen. You know, I just had this view that this will not be you, but then the other thoughts are like, what if it is?
Yeah.
So it was that back and forth. Those are my thoughts and feelings. But they got subsided pretty quickly. I think in the early weeks, like in March, I was having these thoughts. But as, you know, my pastor was encouraging me, and I was also reading the word and I was praying about it, I started to feel more comforted. So I literally was going through the motions, doing what we're told to do, you know, wash your hands. I washed my hands more, definitely.
Yeah.
I was doing that. I was sanitizing, and I was like sometimes when I walk around people, I'm holding my breath because I don't want to breathe in. I don't want to breathe in. And, you know, it was a different way of living, you know. But I was following protocol and I was doing what needed to be done, and that helped me settle a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you, Deanne?
No, I'll go to Frank first. I want to hear with him.
I think for me, I was like, it was like kind of a second world now, because I kind of asked my parents because they never lived in that kind of situation before. So they're like, we don't even know what is disease too. So, you know, I was like, okay, so since them, they never been there, and me too, it's like kind of, we kind of trying to get that experience, like learning with them, like how we're gonna live with wearing the mask, social distancing, and you know, like you don't have to make like being a lot of people, all those kind of stuff was kind of new for me. It was very hard, but I just have to take it because, you know, to protect myself and others, you know. So it was very, like, I was like, the way God has said, I was kind of thinking about myself and then thinking about people I'm living with. I'm like, oh man. So like for me that time, like even at work, they ask us like, if you feel like you know comfortable to work because there's a lot of people, we can just maybe lay you off. You can stay home for a few weeks. But me, I was kind of like, I don't want to stay home. At the same time, I was scared to go to work because we still have like people, and them too, they're scared. You know, it was very hard because now we are like kind of living like 3 guys, you know, 4 guys in the lunchroom. But now there was like maybe 1. You guys can go eat in your car, whatever. That experience was very hard. But at the same time, I was very, very nervous. So like, it was very hard for me. I'm like thinking about it every time we see the news, and asking a lot, you know, like trying to see what is going on. And as my dad was like, oh, so how does coronavirus look? Like, oh no, it's just in the air. I'm like, in the air, you know, like you can't see it. And then, you know, it was very hard. It's very, very hard, but I take it the way it is. And now I'm kind of, we're just going with it in the flow, you know.
Yeah, no, I think similar to both of you, the more that I read upon the news about it, the more my anxiety kind of grew. So at first, like I said, people were saying that, oh, it's just like a flu, oh, it's just a cold, or, you know, they were downplaying it. Even like, I don't want to, this is obviously not a platform for political controversial discussion, but Trump, as well as the president, he was just downplaying a lot of things, or certain leaders were downplaying a lot of things. So that created division. Like, some people were taking it seriously and some people were not taking it seriously. So, but the more I read upon it, and the stories I heard about people who kind of like survived after their I guess it's their fossilization and everything, they kind of like, by God's grace, survived the whole chaos of it all and told how they felt. So that they were very detailed in terms of just describing their symptoms. Some people said like they literally felt like weight on their chest, like they couldn't breathe. Like, you know how we easily breathe in and out, our lungs are just flowing. We don't have to think about it. But each breath, some people were describing that it was painful for them to breathe. Their whole body was aching. Like in migraines, like there's so many symptoms that I was just like, holy smokes, like I would never want anybody to have this. Like, it sounds so painful. And just like what Golda said, for people who are living alone, can you imagine going through that alone, right? So thankfully, like, I live with my parents, so but still, like, one of my brother has asthma, so because it's a respiratory illness and disease, if he gets it, then, you know, that can be a serious problem for him, because already he has to take asthma medication, right? Or for example, if my mom, or if I got it and pass it on to my mom who works with seniors, they could easily just, you know, not have the strength to fight against it. So just thinking so many things, like if I had it, if they had it, or if other people that I knew got it, like how how it would make me feel, obviously I would feel upset. I think leading up to what Golda said about her passing, you know, praying for her and just giving her words of comfort, what else have you guys done to like cope with it? Like anxiety is real. Like we have our registered, you know, therapist here. Like anxiety is real. Like a lot of people getting anxiety from a lot of things. This virus has kind of like heightened our anxiety and just paranoia and just like, you know, it's
like I said in the beginning, I said it was very hard, right? Because you have to close the gym, you know.
Yeah.
The park things was closed. You can't play basket with your friends. You can't play soccer. So it was very hard. But you know, I was just being home, you know, being home and trying to learn something new. You know, I was learning some different cultures through people I'm living with, and
that's awesome.
yeah, and then I think that's what I did, because even my family, there was no need to go. Like if you go there, they're telling you about, you don't have to go a lot because, you know, I have a big family, I have a lot of people there. So I was just home, and I take it the way it was, you know, like I was just home. That's what I did. That's much I did, like just
Did you adjust?
keeping the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I give you guys the distance, you see.
Yeah. No, that's really good to say. Golda, how have you been coping? How have you been coping?
Oh, I think for me, to be honest, not much changed for me. Like I can be a social person, but I'm okay being by myself, and I can do that really well. So to be honest, not that much change for me. But in terms of social life, like I said, I'm a home, like I like home. I like my bed and I like to sleep. Okay. So not having a reason to go out was good for me. Because I'm like, okay, I can just lay in my bed and I can just relax and do my own thing. But then, like for me, I have a balance. I know when I need to step out and be social and meet with people and refill my gas. So I was also very cautious when I had to like meet up with somebody. So it was kind of like, okay, can we do that now? Can I meet with you? You know, can I go to your house anymore? So all that became like, you know, that was a tough thing to not be able to do that, because I was like, no, you know what, we can't go out because of this. And even like going to the grocery store to get essential stuff was also scary. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't know who's touched the drinks and touched the this and touched, and I'm gonna touch it and I'm gonna touch the checkout stuff. Yeah. And then I leave the grocery store holding my hand like this. Like, you know, I don't want to touch myself. Like, so I tell you that a lot of things were going through my mind. But like I said, I was taking it one step at a time and I was doing what I needed to do. So I wasn't too like overwhelmed and scared or anything. But I was just always constantly praying and hoping that, you know, everybody is well, my family, and even the people who were affected by it. I was constantly like, oh God, like, you know, you need to help these guys get through it and heal them and things like that, right? So yeah, things changed in terms of me being a little bit more cautious than I usually would. Yeah. But for social life, I don't see any difference. I didn't see any difference because I'm not really I'm not the type that if I don't go out, then I'm struggling and I'm in pain. It's a balance for me. Like I'm good either way. I'm so flexible. Whatever it is, I can go with the flow. Yeah. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, no, I can like relate.
What about you, Dee?
So many points in terms of social. Okay, I'll start with social. My social life. I think pre-COVID, I will say that I'm a homebody as well, but I'm an extrovert. Like I'm extrovert, homebody, you know? So I do
ambivert.
Oh, that's an actual name? Oh wow.
Yeah. Mixture of introvert and extrovert.
I am that one, Golda. I am that one. So, but yeah, so just, okay, so I'll probably say that just like my whole life, like I've just been with my family, like we're pretty close. So being in that goes to, it's why I'm a homebody. Like I love just being in the midst of my family. Like I don't feel the need like, oh, I need to go out, that they're stressing me out, because I know that may be the situation for some people, that in terms of just family dynamic, like they're not in a good space. So they have to take step out once in a while for them to just have a peace of mind. But for me, I've always been a homebody. My family and I are pretty close, so nothing much has changed in that aspect of like I don't feel the need to go out, like Golda said, like, oh, I need to like go to this club, or I need to go, which I don't. So I need to go to the restaurant. I love home food, like my mom's food or me cooking. I take that any day than going out on restaurant. But yeah, I think so pre-COVID, I used to just go out just regularly, but now obviously being mindful, like, okay, I can't see someone I can't easily see someone how I used to, because I have to take into consideration how they are, their health, my family's health, and just if it's necessary. Sometimes like you have those friends, they're like, oh, Golda, let's go out. Like you're not even really close with them, and then they ask to go out, and then you tag along, but you really didn't want to, but you're just going for the sake of, right? So yeah, like now you don't really have to go out anywhere. And for friends who are really close with you, you kind of like maintain that relationship through video calls like we usually do, or phone call, or if you're seeing one another physically, then social distancing. Like for example, Golda and I went on a hike. Like there were not a lot of people in that area, but once again, just creating that like social distance and being outside, I think that's okay. I think that's what I could say. Other than that, I think in terms of work, it's still been okay in terms of just, but I guess now with the business that I have launched, I'm more I guess productive in that sense, just doing administration work, just working with people. I work with Golda. I work with a lovely lady named Pearl as well. We're a team working together and just thinking about the future and learning things as well as in terms of business has kept me busy in that sense. And then coping in just prayer. Honestly, praying has and will continue to keep me grounded. Like even though we're all scared, we don't know what tomorrow holds, we don't know what the next year holds. Prayer is the one that enables me to kind of alter my perspective instead of like worrying about, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, I don't know what's gonna happen next year. God just brings me back into perspective and saying, just focus on me. As the Bible says, we don't even have to, he literally tells us, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has its own problems. Like focus on the present, focus on having relationship with people that in your family. Frank said he's now, taking the time to build and strengthen those relationships with his family members, which is awesome. Focus on how you are as a person, like your mental health, like how you are, and whether if you want to also work on your physical health, do so, and then just being not fearful what's going to happen, just taking time to just live in the moment. I guess the last question I can say to wrap up this conversation is, what are your thoughts on the future? What are our thoughts in the future? How do you think this year will go, where you will be, or how everything will turn out? Like, what are our thoughts with that?
Yeah. No, I think there's hope. I mean, for me, I know that God always has a good plan for those who love him. And the question is, do you love him? Because if you do, then there's good plans for you. So I'm hopeful that the rest of the year is going to turn out good. And I think people just need to follow whatever, protocol or whatever it is that we're supposed to do, because we're all in this together. You go to Walmart, they take a break, they actually, on the PA system, they're like, okay, everyone pause, wash your hands, do this, do that. So people are following whatever. So do that. But I also think that, in prayer, We are going to get better. We're all going to come out of this stronger. For the many years that, you know, things like that has happened in the past, we've been able to get through it. And I think this is another phase, and we are going to get through it. So everybody just keep your hopes up, and support one another. You know, keep your social circles still going however way you can. Don't isolate yourself, because isolation just leads to lots of thinking and worrying. And so, you know, reach out to people. If you don't have family, there's crisis line numbers that you can reach out to. You can, if you hit us up, well, I'll give you the connection. You want some counseling, let me know. I'll connect you with some resources. You know, like, don't do this alone. And, you know, just stay with people. And because if you're in your own thoughts, then it becomes really overwhelming. So I have a lot of hope, because I have hope in God. So for me, I'm expecting that the next 4 months and then the next year will be better than we've seen. Yeah.
Amen.
Right.
Whew, a whole sermon.
Amen. 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 God. Amen. Amen. Anyways, as for me, like, you know, Boda, she's already said, like, she said everything, you know. So, like, the way you hope, like the way she said hope, you know, like, I think we just have to leave everything in God's hands, you know, because I've already said in the beginning, like, things happen for a reason. Maybe this is the lesson God is just kind of give us, you know, like, this is like the lesson God give us, maybe to learn something which we were like kind of missing, because I think we're thinking about maybe ourselves, but now we have to think about others, you know, because you see this social distance, it makes you stay home, you think like, oh, but sometimes even though like you home yourself, like, oh, you're thinking about, oh, I wonder how my friend is doing right now, how is she doing this COVID thing, you know. It makes you think and to kind of care and love others, you know. So yeah, that's like, there's hope, and we just leave everything from God and then keep praying, you know, because God, He has the plan. Because right now, like, if all of us, even the doctors, whatever, their mind is done, like, they don't know what to do, but God, He knows what next. He knows our tomorrow, you know. So that's what I'm gonna say for me. Yeah, things will be okay. Don't worry, you guys. We things will be fine soon.
Yeah.
The grace of God, not by the grace of God. Yeah.
Hey.
No. By the
God.
grace of God. Yeah. For sure. I think as believers, we're not really totally surprised by this, because the Bible tells us in Matthew that these things will come. There's going to be wars. There's going to be rumors of wars. There's going to be, you know, earthquakes. There's going to be so many things that are coming. This is the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Really. But we have hope. We have hope in God.
Yeah. Exactly. That was our conversation. Hope you find it enlightful, and hopefully you can relate to what we have gone through. Hope that you are well as well.
You guys just follow us on our page, Franklin Speaking, Facebook, Franklin Speaking, Instagram, Franklin Speaking, Snapchat. Just follow us. We just need your views, and we need your, you know, we want to hear from you. Leave your comment and share, and let's support one another. You know, that's what I'm gonna say for now. Yeah. Franklin Speaking,
Helping one another.
Yeah, man. Yeah.